Hello, everyone. Welcome to this particular live session. We are going to give a couple more minutes for people to join in, but for those of you who are already here and watching us live, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that I'll be able to do a bit of justice for you to be investing this time. As you would know already, this is going to be one of the sessions regarding product management. And the topic that we are going to have a look into today is going to be top 5 frameworks for product managers. These are some of the frameworks I have used myself as a product manager in my own career, and I can assure you these are pretty handy tools, right? So while we wait for a few more folks to join in, I would like to hear your thoughts. Are there any particular product management frameworks which have been giving you trouble? Are there any particular questions around some of these frameworks? I know from my own time as a product manager that it took me a while to get a hang of frameworks, right? In fact, there was a time when I wasn't even sure what a framework really is. Honestly, I thought it was some sort of a blueprint. As silly as it might sound, that is how new PMs think, right? Jargon is not something a new PM is usually very comfortable with, right? So that's the thing. But let us know. Let us know in the comments. What are your thoughts around PM frameworks or frameworks in general? Is there a framework which really gives you nightmares? And I'll try to address that during the session itself. All right. Okie dokie. So, without further ado, let me get started. Let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Sumant Malhotra. I am Calcutta alumnus and an ex-PM for more than 10 years now with the product management and business analysis experience. I've been involved in various industries. Most recently, I had been working with Ambition Box, one of those sites which helps you figure out your best workplace, right? I've worked in online communities. I've worked in online advertising. I've worked in investment bank for a short stint as well. And with all these experiences combined, I think I have enough credibility to be helping you out with the top 5 frameworks for product management today. All right, cool. So let's quickly get started. The next screen that you're going to see is going to be a slide. Now, in this particular presentation, I would like to, kind of make it interactive, right? Of course, I'll be taking you guys through the whole presentation, but I would really, really prefer it if I can see you guys write things in comments and ask me questions wherever you need more detail. I am okay in investing a bit more time to, kind of make you understand how things are going on. All right, perfecto. So let's get started. This is how it's going to be like. The whole plan is just take you through a few slides and then kind of get your understanding improved upon these various, how should I say, product management frameworks. All right. Okay, let's jump in without further ado. So, what exactly is a framework, right? A framework essentially is a structured approach or a methodology used to guide decision making, problem solving, or some sort of a product or project management process, right? In PM, frameworks, they typically are used to analyze, prioritize, and address various aspects of product development, marketing, strategy, ops, etc. Okay. They also help PMs to organize information, make some informed decisions, and effectively communicate with stakeholders. Yeah. While going through this slide, if you all felt that there is just way too much jargon being thrown, and if you all are feeling exactly like this, welcome to the session, folks. That means you're awake. For folks who did not think like this, good morning. All right, let's try this one more time in a way that I really do presentations. Okay. All right. So, framework, once again, let's see what exactly frameworks are. Okay. Essentially, a framework is a way to think. Okay. It gives you a quite essential starting point to begin building your thoughts around how to approach a particular situation or a problem. Okay. In layman's terms, it basically is a structured approach to analyze a problem or a situation, which has been used by experts, many experts, and it seems to work for most of them. Okay. Framework, what is it not? it's not a foolproof way of solving a problem. It is not a one size fits all approach for all kind of problems, and it's definitely not something which you should mention during an interview. Nevertheless, there are various types of frameworks available. Not all of them apply to product management, but some are for ops, some are for consulting, etc. Like for example, the ones on screen are SWOT analysis. I'm sure most of you would already understand and know about. We all know, right? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, etc. All right. Anybody who doesn't know SWOT, please put it in comments. We'll have a session. Then we have the RISE framework, which we will talk about in detail in this particular session. We also have PESTLE, and there are multiple more frameworks like these. They all apply to one situation or another, but broadly, all these frameworks, they exist for one particular reason. It's going to give you a way to approach a particular situation, right? It allows you to analyze a particular situation. Think of it this way: if I had to give you a question, let's say on I don't know, differentiation or integration in mathematics, right? And uh, and if I don't really tell you what's a typical way of solving a particular question, and if you haven't really known about it, you will have to invent the wheel, right? You will have to really spend a lot of time figuring it out. But what if somebody told you that, okay, you know what, just go ahead and differentiate both sides of the equation and see what happens, right? That's essentially a kind of a framework, right? Hopefully this analogy kind of tells you what frameworks are in a very, very, very simple way. Moving forward, that was better. Hopefully now hopefully you all are having a bit of fun as well while learning frameworks. So let's jump into the crux of the matter and let's talk about some PM frameworks right away. Okay, let's begin with the 5 whys framework. As the name suggests, this framework makes you ask the why question again and again and again till the answers start becoming absurd. Okay, it exactly is that. Okay, you need to ask the why question repeatedly to uncover the root causes behind a particular issue, right? What it does is it helps you to address the underlying issues rather than just focusing on the symptoms, right? Typically what happens is when you are trying to find root cause behind a particular issue, it is very, very easy for anyone to be distracted by the symptoms, the issues which are getting caused by the underlying root problem. They are the ones which are a bit easier to focus upon. Take any issue, you will see what I mean, right? But the 5 whys, that particular approach, it kind of helps you in figuring out, okay, this is the primary reason due to which all of these problems are happening. Okay, it kind of is very similar to the first principles thinking as well. Similar, not the same, similar. And let's take an example to understand this in more detail. Okay, let's take an example. Let's say that the problem is that the website traffic has decreased. Okay, very common problem in interviews also, by the way. There's a common question even I have asked in interviews. I have been asked this by an interviewer in my interview, so may as well learn about it. Though So the first thing that you will ask is, okay, why has the website traffic decreased? The answer that you will get, and don't get me wrong, to even get to this answer, it might take a lot of effort. Okay, nevertheless, the answer that you will get is content quality has decreased. Okay, next, why has the content quality decreased? The answer, again, after a bit of effort, you will get is writers are overworked and rushed. Why? Because there is no clear editorial calendar. Why? Because there is lack of communication between editorial and marketing teams. Another why: no designated person responsible for content planning. Now you might argue, Sumant sir, why can't we again ask why after this point? Sure, you can keep asking why. It's like digging through earth, and you can keep digging till you reach China. Okay, uh, but at some particular point, the answers that you get for the why will start becoming absurd. At least whenever I've tried this, I've reached a point where the answer becomes something like, because they are people are like that, people are lazy. So like that. So when you reach that particular point, means that the correct place where you would have stopped asking the why question, you might have missed that a couple of whys back. Okay, So for this particular question, however, you reach this part where it says that there is no designated person, and hence you reach the solution that okay, this is the root cause. So to solve this, all we need to do is there's a point a content manager and help him implement an editorial calendar. That way you'll be able to solve this problem. You see how simple this framework is? Yeah, it's a lot easier said than done. Try it out. Okay. Now, I tried this for, why does my ex hate me? I kept asking why again and again and again and again. The answer that I came up with, or answers, perhaps all I can say now is that what she said makes a lot of sense to me now. Anyways, my personal issues aside, moving on, let's look at the RICE framework. As weird as the name is, it essentially stands for reach, impact, confidence, and effort. Okay, let me explain what they mean. Reach essentially means how many people is this product or feature going to cater to. Okay, think of it this way: if you are building a feature or product for 2 people, or versus you're building a feature or product for 2,000, 2 lakh, or even 200,000, 2 million, 2 billion people, right? Makes a lot of sense to, kind of reach out to so many people versus only a couple of them, right? Unless those couple of them are Bill Gates and Elon Musk. Nevertheless, that is what it means by reach. Impact essentially means is the impact of this particular feature when it gets created. Basically, look at the business objective for which this feature is being built. Okay, let's say the feature is revenue. Sorry, the business objective is revenue for this feature, right? So, what is the estimated impact? What is the extra additional revenue that one would be able to get if they go ahead and build this particular feature or product? Okay, that's what impact is. Confidence essentially means what is the level of certainty you can assume for this particular product's data and assumptions due to which this feature can become successful. Basically, what is your confidence level? Yeah, this product might actually be successful. It can be dependent on multiple things, honestly. It could be that this product is completely new in the market. There are no competitors. There are no threats right now. And the pricing is also very, very minimal. So you know that this product is definitely be a hit. You already tried pilots. So you know that this is definitely going to hit the market in a big way, right? Versus something for which you have a very crowded market already. You are doubtful that whether it's going to make any kind of impact, etc. or not. So that also decides your confidence level. Then comes finally the effort. Effort is, as the name suggests, your estimation or your best estimation of the resources, time, or effort that would be required to implement this particular feature, right? So based on all of these, you go ahead and calculate a RICE score. Okay, let's take an example and understand this in a bit more detail. Let's say that the feature was to add a new payment option to the checkout process. It could be any app, any website for which there is a checkout, right? And you need to basically give a new payment option that there is a checkout process for it, right? So based on your best estimations, you figure out that the reach is around 100,000 monthly users, and the impact is that because there would be a new payment option, so the conversion rate will increase by a conservative 5%, right? Because those would be the number of people who would have been looking for this payment option, but they weren't getting it earlier, so they would have been leaving. But now, since they will have it, probably this conversion rate will increase, right? Then confidence, it is high because you have done research, you have taken feedback, might have even tried a pilot, and you know that people are going to love this, so you have a very high confidence for this. Okay, and then the amount of effort that it's going to take, it's around 20 hours of development time based on your feedback from your engineering team. Okay, so then based on this, you go ahead and calculate a RICE score. So check out how the numbers are given. The reach is around 100,000 monthly users, so we put 100,000 here. 5% increase in conversion rate, we put 5 here directly. Confidence is high, basically 8 out of 10, so we go ahead and write 8 here, and we divide it by 20, right? Question, Sumant sir, does it definitely need to be a rating out of 10? Why can't it be out of 5? Why can't it be out of 100? Sure, go ahead, choose whichever number you want. Doesn't matter. Just make sure that when you are calculating numbers like this for this particular feature, make sure you use the same metrics for the other subsequent features as well, because ultimately this is a scale test. Okay, basically it's a relative scoring there would be multiple other features with which this score is going to be compared. So if you are taking 8 out of 10 score for confidence for this feature, please make sure that the other features are also having a scale of 100 out of 10, not out of 100 or out of 5. Okay. All right. Anyway, based on this, you create a calculation of reach into impact into confidence divided by effort, and whatever answer you get, that becomes the relative rice score of this feature. Now all you need to do is calculate these rice scores for various other features as well, and then just do a simple comparison, right? That gives you a good way to prioritize. Okay, this is the way in which I can say that, okay, this feature of adding a new payment option makes more sense for us rather than adding, let's say, a new banner image to increase conversion, etc., etc. Okay, this is essentially a prioritization framework, guys. Right? Feel free to drop in questions, guys. I really look forward to people asking me questions while I coach. So go ahead, drop in your comments. If there's a good question out there, I'm gonna answer that. If there's a bad question out there, I'm still gonna answer that. Go ahead, ask. Alrighty, moving forward. That was basically very simple. Calculating rice scores and comparing. It's just weird that I don't know why they came up with the name rice. I mean, I'm sure if they had just put in their brains for a bit more time, probably some better names could have come up with. Anyway, who am I to comment? Moving forward, the next framework is BD or jobs to be done. Now, what exactly is this? This framework essentially, tries to figure out why customers use a product or service. Okay, that's a broad idea for it. It essentially tries to pinpoint the tasks that your customers or users are going to try and complete. Okay, and the pains and gains that they want to address, essentially, right? So let's again take a look at an example and understand what this means, right? Let's say that a particular product, WhatsApp, is there, okay, and the job that a user wants to do is they want to stay connected with their loved ones, right? Now, when WhatsApp was not in the world, what was the way in which we were doing that? We had phone calls, we had SMS, we had emails, and perhaps a few other methods, pages, and all, right? A lot of them are obsolete now, but you get the point, right? Fax and all, letters, etc. One big problem with all of them, right? Except for the phone calls and SMSs and sometimes even emails, everything else was kind of delayed communication, right? It was not in real time, and you had to wait for a longer time to get a response back, etc., etc. Right? So that was a problem. To some extent, it was solved by phone calls and SMS, but here comes another problem. Now, time that was available to the users, it got limited because they were having a lot of busy schedules, right? So how do you solve this problem? That's where WhatsApp really created its own space by going ahead and creating an app, or rather a platform, which allows for a effortless and convenient communication through instant messaging and multimedia sharing, right? You can argue that yes, SMS was there earlier as well. Yes, some multimedia could have been shared there too, but with the advent of WhatsApp and other subsequent followers in the steps of WhatsApp, you know that how easy life has become when it comes to multimedia sharing, video calls, and whatnot, right? That, my friends, is how you basically think about a particular job that a user wants to do, and then based on that, start understanding the pains and gains of the user. That becomes your job to be done. Again, as I said earlier, it's a way to think. Don't take it as a one size fits all approach. Okay, this is a way in which you would be able to understand the user behavior and create features using the JTPT framework. Okay, again, feel free to ask questions in case the concept is not clear yet. Right, moving forward. uh, Honestly, with the name like JTBD or jobs to be done, I felt it was going to be some sort of a to-do list. I mean, think about it, right? Jobs to be done. Sounds like somebody has given you a roster of things to do. Nevertheless, moving forward, the next framework, the minimum viable product framework, right? A lot of you would have already heard about this. Let me just quickly go ahead and reignite that fire of understanding minimum viable product. Okay. Essentially, the idea, as the name says, is building the simplest version of the product, right? The idea is to build this and go ahead and give it to the customers and satisfy the early customers. That okay, you wanted to do this particular thing, with this bare minimum, structure of a product, you can go ahead and do this thing anyway. Okay, it might not be the most efficient way of doing it, but it can still go ahead and do it, and we are going to iterate and make it better and better and better. That's the idea behind this. All right. Next, the goal is to quickly test the hypothesis that okay, we are on the right track, and gather feedback, and then keep on iterating based on user input. Remember the last part, user input. That is why MVP, it comes inherently with the idea of taking user feedback. Okay, you will not really find MVPs which are, well, just final products. You will constantly have iteration cycles involved everywhere wherever an MVP is being made for any product. All right, let's take an example to again understand this framework. Suppose that you are developing a new task management app. Okay, now with this, what you will do is you will begin with any only the basic features like, okay, task creation, because you want to manage a task. So what is that task, right? Then assignment, that okay, this is your task, right? And completion, that okay, I have completed this task, I'm done, right? These are the three features you will start with. Nothing's all that drama of scheduling, prioritization, due dates, notifications, alerts, and all that, bells and whistles you will keep aside for now, right? You'll only start with basic features. That okay, it's a task management app. I'll ask user to create the task. I'll allow users to assign the task, and allow users to put a mark that okay, I've completed the task. That's it, right? Launch the MVP, send it to a smaller group of people. Let those users give you feedback that okay, yeah, it makes sense to us, they're able to do this, but it would have been better if this also had some sort of a prioritization mechanism. It would have been better if it could notify that hey, somebody has assigned a task to me, etc., etc., right? So this is the feedback users will give you. You don't have to start with this already, right? That way you will be able to validate your understanding ki, acha, we had thought about this particular feature of prioritization. We had thought about notifications, but now users have asked us for it, so we validate that they definitely require this, right? Why is this important? Because now you have not put in a lot of effort already in building features which nobody was asking for, right? You iteratively build only those which people are either asking for or are valuable to them, right? Let's take another example to kind of perhaps have an even closer look at what MVP actually is. Okay, this is a very old example. We have seen this time and time again, right? Let's say that you had to build a car, right? So what exactly is the MVP going to look like in the initial phases, and how is it going to iteratively become better, right? Many people think that because an MVP is part of the product, so they feel that if you're building a car, then the MVP is going to be a tire. Some people have that thinking. Okay, that's not the case though. Okay, uh, an MVP for a car is not based on one part of the car that works. Okay, it is honestly based upon what is the main purpose behind building the car, right? For the user, the intent was that the car is going to take me from one place to another place, right? So the idea is that your MVP, the minimum viable product to solve this problem, should be able to take you from one place to another. All right, and that is why a skateboard is a much much better representation of an MVP for a car, because it might not have all the fancy equipments, not even have a seat for that matter, but it will still allow you to go from one point to another. Some people must be wondering, but sir, a bus or a train can also allow us to go from one point to another. Why does the user need a car, right? That's a fair question. Basically, what this translates into is that there is competition out there in the market, and there are substitutes available to do this already, right? So why does a user require this new product altogether, right? That's what it translates to, and that's a fair question. Its answers depend on a lot of things, which we'll not go into right now. But you get the idea, right? This is the framework you need to follow. That okay, if the idea is to go from one point to another, then a skateboard is the MVP, not a tire, not a steering wheel, not the bumper, not the lights. Okay. So we have a question finally. Sritika, how is audience for MVP testing decided? Honestly, the best audience for your MVP are going to be people who show their own interest to try your product out. These are folks who you would find in your either the customer support team. They will be the ones who will tell you that, okay, these are the people who have been really jumping about getting this particular feature. Okay, so if you are building something like this, please let us know. We will basically connect you to them and they will try this feature out, right? That is how it is decided. The second is you basically float information about this upcoming feature online, right? Whatever communities your product is active in, right? You basically kind of start beating your own drum. Ki, Arey, this feature is going to come out. Please try it out, and then you will roll out a form as well. So interested people will sign in, and basically you will get their leads. You will send them emails of, okay, now this is available for beta testing, and that is how you'll basically create a good amount of good number of people for this pilot testing. Okay, that's how MVP audience is decided. Some companies have other rules as well. Most companies have different rules for deciding MVP testing. Some people don't even go to the external users. Some people have their own internal team for testing out MVP as well, right? Totally depends on what kind of a culture, what kind of a philosophy your company is kind of following. But in my own experience, I've seen this happen a lot, especially for the B2C side of business. This is how things happen. So hopefully that answers your question, Shritika. Feel free to ask any follow-up questions in case there are. All right. Looks like Google is doing for Gemini integration. Absolutely, that's spot on, Shritika. In fact, as you rightly mentioned, these kind of products, the digital B2C side products, they will see this kind of thing happening already, right? Makes sense. Thanks for that insight, Shritika. Let's continue. So, as I mentioned earlier, a skateboard is a better idea of calling an MVP for a car, right? And now let's look at stark difference between these two approaches as well, right? See, look at this. When you have a tire being made in phase one, right? Then sort of a skateboardish place where you have a chassis where you have tires attached to it, right? Uh, this is still not something the user can use because well, it's too big. A skateboard is a lot more manageable for a user. This structure is not usable for the user, right? Because let's face it, guys, without an engine, a user pushing this, that's ridiculous. Similarly, structure of a car without a steering wheel, without an engine, etc., it's not useful for the user. Imagine taking all these iterations to the user. What is the user going to feel like? What are the emotions that person is going to have? Most of them are going to feel bad. This is useless. This is not going to work, etc., etc. Right? Only in the final phase of the iteration, where you kind of give them the final version of the car, a work version of the car, then and only then will the user be able to solve their underlying problem, and then only they can give you any sort of a feedback for that matter, right? On the other hand, when you create a skateboard and tell the user that, hey, don't over expect right now, we know that this is not a car. Okay, but we have created an MVP for you to try it out and see if this solves your problem. If it is going to solve your problem, we will know that we have created a solution which is validated by you, and then we will iterate and build upon it, right? The user tries it out, says that, yeah, the skateboard is good, it allows me to go for shorter distance, it's quite convenient, I don't have to walk a lot now, but I don't have a lot of control on it, etc., etc., right? Then in the second iteration, you go ahead and build for control, build for distance. Now you give them a kid scooter, right, where the user can control it. Then they tell you that, yeah, the control is there, but I would want something for much longer distances, perhaps something in which I can sit as well, etc. Based on that feedback, you go ahead and build a bicycle, right? Then the user comes back and tells you that, yeah, the bicycle is really great. Now I can go around campus, it's healthy as well. You basically come up with the new feedbacks from the user, which you perhaps wouldn't have thought about. Yeah, there are health implications for this as well. Right? I'm telling you, this happens in real life too. When we were building archiving for communities, we found that people use archiving not just for getting rid of obsolete content. They use it kind of like a spam tool as well. Imagine that, right? Anyways, so Basically, using that same thought process, you go ahead and build a motorcycle from a bicycle, and then finally a car from a motorcycle. That is how MVP keeps getting evolved again and again and again. That's how product versions are rolled out. Make sense? Feel free to again ask questions in case this concept is still not clear, right? Okay, moving forward. Now, this is a heartfelt thing. PMs in the crowd, or potential PMs, they are definitely going to resonate with this particular meme, right? Whenever you hear the word MVP as a PM, there is a small tinge that happens in your heart. Yeah, honestly, I'm the real MVP. This is not a MVP, and by MVP, I don't mean the minimum viable product. Okay, so if YK, okay, all the PMs and potential PMs guys, hang in there. You are not alone. Okay, so finally, moving to the final framework, we have a question. Ashika asked, what is the general duration for MVP feedback integration, and how many rounds of it can a product go through? There is no particular limit. It is a standard thing, Ashika. Typically, however, I can tell you from my own experience, we kind of give about 2 weeks to a month of time to our pilot users. We kind of give that expectation very clearly to them that we are waiting for your feedback, and based on that we are going to decide whether this version is going to be rolled out, or are we going to take some time, build upon your feedback, and then only we are going to roll it out. Okay, same goes for rounds for a product to go through. Imagine that the first beta test does not really look good, right? You get a backlash from your pilot user saying that this is utter crap and this is not going to work. So you basically work upon it and you roll it out again in beta, right? You keep basically doing that till you figure out the secret sauce that, okay, this is now validated by the market. This is going to work for them. And this is what becomes our next, foundation on which we are going to build upon, right? That is exactly how it goes. There is no, set number of rounds that, okay, after 2 rounds, whatever is built, we are going to go with it. Until the market tells you that, yeah, this is what works, you keep trying. That's the way to build good software and hardware products. Simple. Okay, hopefully that answers your question, Nishika. Okay, let me know if you have any other follow-up questions. Okay, moving forward, hope you guys are having fun. You're having fun, right? Please let me know in the comments if you are. All right, the final framework, the user journey map, right? What it essentially, as the name suggests, it's a visual representation of a user's steps to achieve a specific goal. Okay. Uh, think of it this way. You are using, let's say, MediBuddy or Zomato or any other app like that. So, right? So you go to these particular apps or websites for a particular reason. Let's say you want to order food, so that's why you're going to Zomato or Swiggy, right? That's the goal in your mind, right? Now, to achieve this particular goal, you need to complete a set of steps, some actions, right? So the app that you will open, it will ask you for some details to log in. If you're already logged in, then you will go into the app. You will search for a restaurant or a food item that you want to order. You will add it to your cart. You will go ahead and order it. You will pay it. Then the food will be delivered to you and will be marked done, right? So all these are steps involved in this particular user journey. Okay, it basically creating this sort of a user journey map, what it does is it helps you understand the user's experience itself, right? It will allow you to figure out that, okay, at this particular point my user is not really happy. They are feeling a pain that I'm sitting at home, I don't have food, I really want food to be delivered to me. That's an emotion that you need to capture as a PM, because that is what is going to help you in figuring out that, okay, how do I solve this? Okay, so this is how user journey map helps. But as you would have already noticed, I don't just give statements, I always give examples. So let's have a look. Okay, let's take an example again of Zomato, Swiggy only. So the user persona here that we are going to consider is of Sarah. Sarah is a busy professional looking for a convenient meal delivery service, right? The touch points that Sarah will have would be website visit, okay, Swiggy, Zomato, product selection, the ordering process, the delivery tracking, and finally having the meal delivered, right? Obviously, these are the things we just talked about, right? The emotions that Sarah would be going through would be the excitement due to product discovery. Arey yaar, there is this wonderful site or app that allows me to get the food delivered to my home, right? But frustration because lengthy checkout process, so many options, so many meal choices, so many coupons, etc., etc., right? But finally, when you get the order delivered, a lot of satisfaction. Oh, finally, I have food now. I don't have to worry about creating the meal myself, getting all the ingredients, going through the hassle of creating food, etc. Right? All these are emotions that you track. Right? Then coming to pain points. Confusing website navigation, slow delivery times, and limited meal options. These are things that you will be able to figure out once you have mapped the user journey, that okay, this is what the user is going through, right? And then when you have the pain points, figuring out the opportunities to improve is obviously a lot simpler, right? Because let's say when you know that okay, the user is going frustrated, when they have a lengthy checkout, you basically go ahead and figure out a way to streamline the checkout process. Simple as that, right? Making sense, guys? Hopefully, this is giving you a lot of idea about how to map user journeys, right? Let's take a deeper look at this. This is a user journey map created by Abhineet Kumarak, right? It was a great blog he wrote on Medium. You can go and check it out. But just to kind of make use of time better, we'll quickly go through it. This is how it is going to look like when you map the user's journey. You'll have various stages like, okay, at this point, user is still thinking. At this point, they research and discover the food item that they want. They go ahead and visit our particular website or app. Then they go ahead and order the food, and then they are going to share what they ordered on social or give their feedback, etc., etc. This is for this particular user persona. Let's say Sumant Mishra, who is a software engineer of 24 years of age, living in Bangalore, and she's bored of ordering food from the same restaurant and wants to order something from a new hygienic restaurant. Okay. So expectations are tasty food, hygienic food. They can differ, right? Then for these stages, you basically write down the steps and write down what the user might be thinking at this particular point of time, right? Then what are they doing after they think this? And finally, the various touch points that they are going to have when they are going through each particular step. Okay. That is how you basically go ahead and figure this particular user journey out, right? Once you map all of these, once you map the emotions, you will be able to figure out, okay, at this particular point now, my user is frustrated. This is the place where I need to really, think hard and improve upon. That is how you go ahead and build upon this, right? Many products, especially the ones which have been established now, right? They require this kind of a thought process wherein the PMs will need to really jump in deep into the product user journey, right? And figure out at each particular part of the funnel that okay, my user is not going ahead and ordering this item even though they have added it into the cart because there is a payment option missing, or they got a better price somewhere else, or something else, right? Very useful exercise to know this particular framework. Okay, make sure you go ahead and practice. Here's another question. A lot of students have asked me in the past that, sir, if this is user journey, what's a user flow, right? It is honestly very easy to get confused between the two. Let me be candid. I have seen a lot of people use these terms interchangeably. I am guilty of doing that myself for a long time as well. But once I learned about it, I realized that these are two different things. Okay, let me kind of throw some light at it. A user journey essentially is the main objective for which you are coming on to a particular app or site. Okay, like for example, if there is an app for hospital or consulting, medical consulting, right? Take example of Medibuddy or any diagnostic lab like Dr. Lalpath. Okay, so for that, a user journey is they will basically research the doctor's offices, right? Schedule an appointment, they'll receive a reminder, they will visit the doctor's office, they will access the patient portal, and then follow up via phone. Right? This is the whole journey. Right? Out of this, accessing the patient portal so that they can view the test result in it. That is only part of the user journey, and that is why this is the user flow. Making sense? Okay, that's how it goes. Hopefully, it's making sense to you, right? Okay, dokie. So don't make this mistake ever again. In case somebody asks you that what is user flow and user journey, now hopefully you will be able to answer this question with a lot more confidence. Okay. So I think that one made a lot of sense, right? I remember, when I learned about user journey map for the first time. Honestly, till that point, the only journey I had mapped uh, well, was my to London. That was the only user journey I had mapped till that particular point. Going by that logic, sometimes it occurs to me, although in a funny way, that tour planners must be really good PMs. They just need a chance. What do I know? Anyway, here's a fact for you: 97%. Yeah, that's the average percent of MyPrepZone students that make it to their dream B school. Our GDPI course is one of the best we have in India right now, and we are really honored and proud that a lot of our students are making it into top IIMs and top B schools in India because they chose us, right? We are really happy, and I think the secret sauce behind is very simple. We are folks who have done this ourselves. We are simply kind of reflecting upon our experiences and sharing them with the students. Our motivations are in the right place, and that is what our results are reflecting as well now. Okay, here's another fact for you: 40%, right? Some of you might be aware, but for those who are not, let me just quickly go ahead and tell you. We are beginning our career boost course, specially catering to folks who are getting into B schools, right? Who are done with all the processes and who are just waiting, biding their time. They're just about to get into B schools, right? What they don't know is that there is a lot that happens in a B school. And honestly, I remember my own time. I was kind of shocked that, oh my God, I have to go through so many hoops now again, right? Whether it is CV preparation to figuring out what's the right domain for you, let me actually talk about this particular part of it, right? When I joined my own B school, I thought I was a great fit for finance. Think about it, right? 3 years of work experience in the past in investment banking domain, right? Anybody would think, yeah, finance is the right domain for me. 1 year down the line in B school, I realized finance is not my cup of tea, and I jumped to IT and MIS so fast. Okay, I realized product management is my one true love, and that's how I became a product manager. But it took me a lot of time and a lot of how should I say, failures in finance to realize that, yeah, this is not the right path for me to go. If only I had mentors to tell me that, okay, this is what this domain is about, and whatever experience you have had so far is good to have, but it is not apt for finance as a field right now, and you would need to learn a lot more. Perhaps you need to look at what your bent of mind is right now, right? If that advice had been given to me in the past, it would have been a lot easier for me to figure this part out. That is what we are bringing to the table with career boost course. Not only that, apart from that, helping you out with the interview questions, case solving, figuring out what are the right resources to prepare for interviews from, uh, understanding what are the best elements to write in your CV, taking mock interviews, etc., etc. So much more is there. So kind of building that course on the same lines, right? With the discount code Sumant, you'll be able to get a 40% discount. But remember, it's only valid for the first 100 users of the code. So go ahead and use it now. Alrighty. Check it out on myprepzone.com today. All right. And I really look forward to having you guys, on the other side. Right. So go ahead and check out myprepzone.com. uh, you can go ahead and get connected with me as well, and feel free to ask me questions that you have, right? I'll just take a few more questions. We'll open it up for Q&A now. Shika asks again, a little off topic, but what does a general workday as a PM look like? Also, what background knowledge is required for? Sure. This actually has a lot of layers to it, honestly, Ishika. But I'll give you a short version of it. A typical day of a PM would require well attending a lot of scheduled calls, right? You will have sprint planning, or you will have grooming exercise. You will have client calls. You will have calls with your bosses. You will have product discussion calls, conceptualization calls, so many calls in a day. Your calendar is going to look like a bloodbath every day. Okay. Then on top of it, you will need, of course, time to kind of think and ideate upon new features, get feedback from users, send a lot of emails out, reach out to new users, do a bit of competitive research, read battle cards which have been sent to you by marketing. That is how a typical day of a PM is going to look like, right? There is no respite. Let me just be very clear. There is no respite for a PM. PM has to really be on their toes all the time, because that's the kind of responsibility a PM holds, right? And for people who say, what do PMs do? Chat GPT can do it. Yeah, let them enter the PM realm. That's when they will realize what PMs do. Okay. Background knowledge, I think in today's day and age, I think the best knowledge you can have is the understanding of tech. Okay. Don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that people coming from non-tech backgrounds don't make good PMs. All I'm saying is that they have a much steep battle. They basically fight uphill, because they have to interact with people who are tech savvy. They will be talking to developers, will be talking to testers. Now, how are they going to get work out of them if they don't understand the same language, right? That's the problem. That is why people who have a tech background usually have it slightly easy, right? Usually, right? Also depends on the role. There could be a role where the PMs are completely on the business end, right? In that case, you don't have to have that kind of a tech background. But in most companies, most product based companies, tech background helps tremendously. I mean, I can vouch for it. Okay. There are ways to prepare for it, and in our course we will be telling you about those resources as well. In fact, we'll be taking you through some of them. All right. So hopefully that answers your question, Ishika. Right. Okay, I'll give one more minute in case there are any other questions. Otherwise, hopefully you guys learned something and had a lot of fun. Uh, how did you guys find this session? I hope that while it was informative, it was a lot of fun for you guys as well. I mean, is there any question, any feedback, or any suggestion? Feel free to let me know in the comments. Okay. And yes, even though this is a live session, you can still keep on adding questions to this particular video when we upload it on YouTube. If there are questions that you have, a subsequent manner, or in case you share this video with some of your friends, and if they have questions, they can just simply put it in the comments, and our team will get back. Right. Alrighty, so let me quickly go ahead and conclude this particular session. I hope that you all learned something from this particular session, and I really, really, really look forward to seeing you on the other side of the Career Booster course. Thank you so much, folks. You have been a lovely audience. Talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye bye.